Kubrick Strauss aftershock singularity. Zarathustra battles grip rails as precursor to the seismic rollick and roll of Silmar 71. Primed and tolerant for Zeppelin and Hendrix, not so much divorce and manic depression. Jesus bids high, but California wins out, even going downhill between the handlebars, losing teeth among little white rocks on asphalt because it's still all uphill from the middle earth of the road. No daredevil life or comics for the traumatized bookworm who finds the Narnia of the mind too early to come back for a practical, hierarchical existence which excretes him to an execrable world. After 4 years, it lives on to teach the word is golden, even if revenue and the world itself are not. It's a wonderful exercise doing a 100-word bio. It might sound easy at first, but then when you take a whole lifetime and try to cram it into 100 words, it's kind of strange what comes out. And it's strange the places that you will, the kind of things you'll write from in sort of incongruous situations. And that sort of sets up this next piece, which is called Notes from an Orgy.
Oh boy.
Man, it was a gorgeous day in hell this afternoon. 75 degrees and a gentle breeze, flames unobstructed by clouds. Yes, a beautiful blue sky day in hell. This city, let's call her heaven's ambassador to hell, pimping the tainted soil of paradise, because you know every heaven has got to have a token demon seed. Were you thinking the place would be all brimstone and high-impact aerobics in a lake of molten lava for all eternity? Organized religion never tells us the fabric of hell is the emotion that we feel, not the status we see, invisible much as hell was designed to be. Wall-constructed combustion and line-drawn exclusion, fission and fusion. Hell is the wholesale of creative consciousness by self-proclaimed prophets of vision, who are in fact only visions of prophets. Hell is where we are told to cling to sidewalks and storefronts, because if we don't, God will just make us come back after we die. Hell is a beckoning, teasing lover, palpable yet just out of reach, a mirage that slips not through the fingers so much as the mind. All of this leaving the heart in dichotomy, which is to say, a leaving of the heart in conflict, which is to say, a leaving of the heart at war. And war is against the white blood cells of the nurturing, single, welfare Gaia. Hell is inside you, dreamer of the individual, you time-spun creators, you dust-bound poets, you geodes of star matter made self-conscious. We are our own angels and demons. We are the citizens of hell, and literally, it loves us to death, because we do shine this dark and shine this light with an astonishing intensity inside these carbon-wrapped marionettes on this collapsing proscenium. We're all just hoping to make it to the cast party, baby, because hell is not the hereafter. It is. Ooh. We apologize for this form rejection corpse. Dear author, / writer, / hopeful young artist, / candidate, / whoever you are. Thank you for sending, / sharing, / mailing us your story, / poem, / essays, / memoir, / interview, / resume, / query for our consideration. We found your work, / labor, / toil, / dreams of immortality to be an entertaining, interesting, engaging, and enjoyable slice of real-life prose with very solid writing, a unique concept, for sure. And you did a superb job of capturing Christopher Walken's voice. Well, we gave your piece careful consideration, and these are fairly close for us. We found entries numbers 661 and 662 to be hard to follow, with a little too much telling instead of showing, and that we respect your novel approach to everyday objects and found your interweaving on historic happenings to be very interesting. The work was just a little too anecdotal for us, and we had too many other articles that we felt were more timely at this time. Unfortunately, your submission does not meet the present needs of our journal. It was a close call with yours, but we don't believe it's right for publication just yet. We hope you understand. This was not an easy decision, but we felt it was the right one. We haven't extended an offer to another author of far superior talent. Hope there aren't any hard feelings. We would like to apologize for this form letter. The number of submissions we received prevents us from giving personal feedback, but since your piece was so distracted by its fudging of historical accuracy and its creative choice of an unreliable narrator, as they call it in creative writing classes, I am to understand, we've decided to offer a few unsolicited thoughts. It starts out strong, however, it veers into a complete different direction after the line, "We decided to turn gay." And we just don't see those two parts matching up. When the girl is trying to punch a hole in the wall and starts talking about the slaves and whatnot, etc., we were interested to see where it would go, which makes us think it might be a good start for a novel, or at least a long, short story. But as it is, it doesn't really offer anything. These works are broad-reaching, and we don't want to use the word preachy, but they both, the second in particular, address external fallibility rather than looking at the narrator. We like rhetoric that is aware of the self. That is, not obsessed with the self, but self-aware and willing to question oneself. For example, there's a lot about us. Us who? The collective us? The editorial us? Are you actually trying to insult us? We're not quite sure what that means. Though you've begun the journey down that road, I encourage you to take a further step. For to be effective, readers would really need to know that who Anton LaVey is/was. You need to flesh it out quite a bit with actual facts to do that, which we think would ruin the poetic rhythm of the prose. Do you have something either more current or not quite so time-based? Be sure you'll find another home for it. You should take a healthy dose of encouragement that yours was among the handful of submissions that made it to the final editorial round. Our acceptance rate is currently only 45% of the submissions we received. We wish you the best in your future endeavors as a struggling writer or some other more productive field of work that suits your service capabilities. Thanks again for trusting us with your work. And finally, please subscribe to our magazine so we can keep it going. Sincerely, a cool, attractive intern who plans to be working at a much hipper periodical 3 months from now. Called the Beta Male Survival Guide to Newport Towns. We don't get the fabled view we were promised near the end of our pilgrimage. Rolling into town in my 1952 Ford Foo Fighter, hating the wannabe beatnik, talking and smoking shit in the back seat, chattering teeth and the smell of something dead and amphibious, driving by the crumbling ruins of some long-dead evangelist coliseum. I let the punk kid out in questionable quarters and head north, top down, trying to leave the stench of Mexico behind, looking for Garrett in the heart of a tabula rasa Gomorrah. The ancient gravity-defying vehicle is assaulted by a cleaner, crisper rain than it knew in the Mojave, as it spills me into a hulking apocalypse of mist-strewn monoliths. This brave, plucky vessel, once prepared to die, now smothers my possessions and I in warmth and dryness. My destination is somewhere within these dark giants. I see a sign. Mission. This is the wondrous alien nightmare the evening news sang of in my precocious youth. A landscape belonging to pedigree uniforms by day, and patrols I was warned about as a child by night. Every person, brick or edifice is packed snug against the next disproportionate and poorly lit spectacle. The mission. Just sounding out the name is simultaneously beautiful and horrible. Is this how Native Americans originally thought of the missions? Sanctuaries with promises hung in the storefront every bit as fragile as their framing? The only thing keeping the night at bay, keeping it from swallowing my worldly possessions and me, is Dee's phone number, which I can barely make out in the light of the neon graviton dashboard. The only working lifeline I can find is cradled in what looks like a broken eggshell. I see no one on these streets, yet utterly feel all of no one's eyes upon me. Ring, ring, ring. God, please answer. Ring, ring, ring. Please give me sanctuary. 2. Walking down the middle of a major avenue in my miserable bare feet at 3:30 in the morning while a northern squall strafes the city, I duck into a 24-hour convenience hardware store selling spade shovels across the street from a 24-hour convenience graveyard, where some rotting bastard socks will now warm and dry my feet. Once I dress myself in a corpse's clothing, my essence gets sucked through every mirror on the sidewalk, only to wind up back on the same hallucinogen-saturated couch, the same rutabaga packs of dog leeches snickering at delusions of gorging on someone's sexual sidal fantasy, mine, no doubt. Probably because this is the same couch I walked in on you gangbanging all 3 of my succubae. Moonlight word lather, most born to bleed here as a sweet garden love devours on melting fingers and her purple diamond embrace. Probably because this is the same couch you convinced me to swallow the red pill on, within a storm of translucent smoke music and ferocious coffee driving left us with hot honey champagne licks, a fever squirm smelling moist inside our deep star pool. I picture glass candy in the rain hole and remember how the slow, steamy raw gift pie, our love growl and sense round, all rights reserved, luscious joy, a sordid show of sad summer child lust, beauty above the surface, and then gone. And you know I will always love you for that. 3. 16 hours later, I'm drunk with victory and champagne, standing on the edge of a 4-story brownstone, surveying the hustle of storefront bodies in the light drizzle. After a while, you can tell who's who. The females wear haggard defeat. The men have the hottest legs. Above the monuments of robber barons, anchored in paved sand wrinkles, and occasionally emerge from indiscriminate rivers of fog. Free-flowing rivers which radiate more spiritual clarity in life than anything moving below. For some time now, there has been the mirage of a shared affinity. The voice of the Mattress Tech Authority blares down from unseen public address systems, strategically planted on tops of steely gray 60-story denials and fair weather foundations, inhabited by a handful of Axl Rose clones directing a hybrid disaster porno flick in the tunnels. These voices don't come from disembodied spirits, but from disembodied bodies. Except that one time, when the old stranger whispered in my ear as I passed, "Hey, how's that play you're working on going?" Or when the lumped woman with the backpack sticker that says, "Jesus hates sex," asked if I could see him crucified on the bottoms of 767s overhead. And why, yes, look there, I can clearly see the Savior now, arms strapped to the bottom of commercial airline wings, flapping his dick out all over the city, blessed semen and urine sure to rain down upon our hungry mouths at any moment. It stops becoming them. You and I are no longer an us. Listen, no one here thinks I stand a chance. But after I eat my beautiful roommates for dinner, I'll kick back with a smoke and start working on a plan, because this has been my home turf all along anyway. I just hadn't been able to recognize it. And yet I still get a kink in my neck whenever I smell fish, or a hophead firing up some kind of musty that reminds me of the feeling of feet walking across my calcifying spine. Song of our divorce. Oh, spectacle, where art thou, oh spectacle? Doing the Xanax blues band shuffle, no doubt, all over the collective action blueprints, with managers snickering at the control desk. The heart of the sun we worship, targeted from every angle demanded on every monitor. Gutter-strewn language poets, their ranting, acting as the aftertaste of a cold oasis spring water when poured through the barren waste of your ashtray manifestos. A tired old margarita sounds a lot better than your tired new revolution. True glamour has crawled off the guy in wall spaces, frequented only by the Geraldo Riveras of the social networks. The damage in their wake sublime, and unlike any other unique problem with a line in the sand, the problem with a line in the sand is that sand moves in different directions than our eyes. The problem with the song you sing is that it receives applause for its applause of others' applause, and for that it will certainly get applause, but in the din of all that applause, the song will not be heard, much less negotiate resonance. It's not our fault your only option is to cannonball your cannon out over the Grand Canyon to the oohs and ahs of coyotes, burros, and shapeshifters. Congratulations. You are the proud parent to a scrap heap of half-finished lyrics and late 80s Casio sound samples. Television snow is brimming over the cauldron's rim, and all I want are my flannel jammies and a blackened room where I can contemplate a glow-in-the-dark replica of the Titanic as it appears now, becoming one with its rust print on the watery floor of an alien planet. I'm sorry, my friend. We can't hold each other up anymore. Our darkness is subsuming each other to a tune no one wants to hear. Your resentment is a small price to pay in light of mine having become priceless. We reached the point in our evolution that we learn all we need for the day in 7.5 minutes, a mere 472.5 minutes needed to reach our next fresh fix of infotainment, produced, presented, and packaged for our easy compartmentalization. Let's keep a close eye on all those other junkies to see if they know as much as we know. Keep our ears peeled to hear if we can beat them down with our connectedness, to get them to get us off. And yes, I'm quite aware that this is a very sad victory song that we sing. And you can't unsee me Googling every great idea I have to make sure it's really my idea, and I can no longer remain sane within view of your mixed medium collages. There's got to be a hollowed out log around here somewhere, so long as it has wireless percussion. I'm sorry the bottom end became unhinged, but the top became so long ago. I swear, if I can just score us a date with the Courtney Love of the small press, I'm sure we can make all of our nightmares come true, and then everything will be okay. I swear. A virus in the machine. Lotus Eaters infiltrate their own mechanisms. The devices fed them in order to congeal an entirely different machine. Juxtaposed with working-class heroes soaked in their beer, loud, senseless, yet functioning somehow. Hidden in the nooks, freshly shaved underarms planted squarely on the comely children of Dionysus look exactly like perfectly, freshly shaved vaginas. We are giving birth to something incremental, compartmental, and partially mental. We are secreting something joyful and sad and hopeful and riddled with death under oak trees, older than everyone in here combined, owned by the world's most self-entitled socialists. We live for these long, awkward but playful, musky early evenings. We are beautiful, for at least a little while, though this cannot sustain. The only thing that matters is that this is making right now. Lotus Eaters infiltrate their own mechanisms. The devices fed them in order to congeal an entirely different machine. Juxtaposed with working-class heroes soaked in their beer, loud, senseless, yet functioning somehow. Hidden in the nooks, freshly shaved underarms planted squarely on the comely children of Dionysus look exactly like perfectly, freshly shaved vaginas. We are giving birth to something incremental, compartmental, and partially mental. We are secreting something joyful and sad and hopeful and riddled with death under oak trees, older than everyone in here combined, owned by the world's most self-entitled socialists. We live for these long, awkward but playful, musky early evenings. We are beautiful, for at least a little while, though this cannot sustain. The only thing that matters is that this is making right now. I don't give a frack for Jack care o whack. Oh. Frack Jack, I don't care o whack. Man, the desolation in Damascus, paved with do-gooder intentions, beginning with compacted concrete evidence and public opinion, historical foundations laid down over proven demographics over the past 10 years, and promising to never indulge our vices again except in the cold, cold rain. Whatever you stand for God's sakes, please make sure the hipsters cannot use that shit against you. This should keep you plenty preoccupied with unoccupation and headstrong in the fumes of consumer ether. Let them frack your soul and your conscience for the price of a map, which leads to another map, which leads to another map ad infinitum. Because believe me, in America, nothing commodifies faster than the journey, nothing more undesirable than the destination. A can to keep kicking down the good intentions superhighway. Thank you.